30 seconds.
Yeah, that clock is
Mr.
on.
Munner's here now. We can start.
Ready? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the March 16th, 2017 Northampton County Council meeting to order. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer. Thank you, and please stay standing.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, Ms. Wengren. Can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Bennell?
Here.
Mr. Kuzic?
Present.
Mr. Deeds?
Here.
Mrs. Ferrara?
Here.
Mr. Geisinger?
Present.
Mr. Kraft?
Here.
Mr. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Vaughn?
Here.
Mr. Warner?
Here.
Okay, all are present. We have no minutes this evening. We're running short-handed currently with our staff. Courtesy of the floor is next then. We had no one that signed up. Is there any member of the public that would like to address council this evening? Okay, we have no one from the public that would like to address council. Then the next item we will move into is confirmation of appointments, and I'll call on Mr. Kraft to introduce that resolution.
All right, the only one I have here tonight is be it resolved by Northampton County Council that the following individuals shall be confirmed in their appointment, reappointment as indicated hereafter. The Industrial Development Authority, the appointment of Ms. Gretchen Rice of Bethlehem, PA, term to expire 3/17/22, and we so moved unanimously yesterday.
Okay. Any further discussion on the appointment? There being none, can we call the vote?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrara?
Here. Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Present. Yes.
See, she's got you.
The resolution passed by a vote of 9-0.
Okay, passes unanimously. Next, the Controller's report. Mr. Barron indicated to us that he would not be here. He's dancing this evening. Next is the County Executive's report. Mr. Brown.
Hi, good evening, Council. Just one item. I wanted to just give you some quick updates on the county's pension fund performance for 2016. Just a couple of sound bites. For 2016, the basic pension finished at $357.9 million. That's an increase of $26.7 million for the year, or 7.9% increase for 2016. We did benefit from the surge in the fourth quarter of 2016. That puts us at about, we were at beginning of the year 84% funded rate. That lifts us to about an 87% funded rate for the pension. The other key is the OPEB, which is the post-retirement benefit, which the county has been funding. We're one of the few counties that are actually funding that liability. That did a little bit better. It's about an 8.4% performance for 2016. The funding is still a long way to go. It's so significantly underfunded, but we're ahead of other counties in doing that. The surge in the stock market over the past 2 months has also added actually another 4% to the fund in the first 2 months of this year. So we're off to a good start, and hopefully it'll continue moving forward. So just good news on the pension overall for 2016.
Anything for the executive this evening?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item is old business. First item is a public hearing on the ordinance titled, "An Ordinance Approving Northampton County to File a Declaration of Taking and to Take Such Other Steps as Legally Necessary and Prudent to Pursue the Condemnation of Those Portions of the Affected Property, more specifically identified as Northampton County Tax Parcel ID G8610626, otherwise known as 809 Bender's Church Road, Penn Argyl, Northampton County, Pennsylvania, 18072, with a current record owner of Andrew Capici. Okay. This ordinance was introduced by Mr. Phillips and Mr. Geisinger at the March 2nd meeting, and the public hearing, debate, and possible vote are scheduled for this evening. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this ordinance? Okay, there being none, we will move into council discussion. Is there any member of council that would like to address this? Mrs. Ferraro?
I just think with all the students in the audience, this is eminent domain. Are you familiar? If you're not familiar with that term, I'm sure it's something that should be part of your vocabulary. And this is one of the rare instances where this governmental body takes a person's property by right of eminent domain. Okay? And it's so that's a good thing to put in your report tomorrow for your school report.
And for your SAT.
Always the school teacher.
And your SAT vocabulary, yes.
Always the school teacher.
Always a teacher.
Mr. Phillips, if you would like to,
Yeah, I just want to paint the picture. So this bridge is being replaced, and the problem with it is why we need this eminent domain. It's not to take complete ownership of the property.
No.
There's a 90 square foot, like a 10 by 9 creek bank that goes up to the bridge. So that's a fairly small piece of property. And we're not taking that ownership of it. We need temporary access to that property to build the bridge. And we also need maintenance access to that little piece of property there to keep it clear so that we don't have the problem of the water backing up and brush collecting to the bridge. So it's a safety feature. Again, it's 90 square feet. It's valued at $300, and we're not taking ownership of it. That the owner is not losing any aspect of that property, that very small piece of property, but it's absolutely necessary. If we don't get that, the bridge doesn't go in. There's another aspect of it too, and it's a underground drainage pipe that goes about 30 feet in that area, and it's the right to keep that clean underground. And it's something, you know, many of us who live in developments, we have these retention ponds and things of that nature going through our property and drainage ditches, and the township could come in and they keep that clean. You know, they tell you they're coming and they just do it, and it's a non-event. That's what this is about. And the reason I'm painting this picture is I've been a huge anti-eminent domain person, and I think that this is not where we're taking over property unreasonable. We're not even taking over the property. It doesn't fit what I would be against in normal circumstances. So I'm an advocate of this. I don't see how we could put the bridge in without that. It doesn't seem like it's a draconian measure by the county. That's all I have.
Good explanation.
Mr. Bennell?
I voiced my concern about this at the last meeting, and I think we're sugarcoating this because technically we are taking somebody's property. We are voting tonight to take somebody's property. We're not giving it back, so we're taking it. And I'll go to item 3 here. If the county obtains the permanent drainage easement on behalf of Plainfield Township, it shall therefore be permitted to fully transfer and assign all interest under said easement to Plainfield Township without additional consideration. So the fact is we are taking somebody's property as the county, and then we're giving it to the township. I understand the reasons why, but I just think if we're going to discuss the facts, we shouldn't sugarcoat it. The fact is that this body is going to take somebody's, voting to take somebody's property.
Well, I'm surprised that you think I sugarcoated it. I stated the facts. If that was sugarcoating to you, I don't understand. I just don't understand where you're coming from. You may have a problem with that it has taken over the maintenance rights of that property, but I painted the facts the way it is. I didn't sugarcoat it. That's the facts.
Mr. Geisinger, you had a comment?
Just one, I co-sponsored this, and I'm no fan of eminent domain either. I do not believe that it's normally in the best interest of the individual for government to arbitrarily or take property. But there are necessities, and this particular bridge, it's required for the drainage easement. It requires it for when you have easements of right for public utilities or drainage or other things. It is in the overall good to provide for those opportunities, and we're talking about 90 square feet to be able to maintain for a bridge that's going to convey value to that road. So I don't have a problem with this.
Anything else? No, I'll just share with you. I'm no fan of this. I'm not a fan of the Kelo decision either, but that is not what we're doing here. This is a public safety issue, so I feel this is something that we need to do to enhance public safety. So that's why I'll be supporting it. Anything else? Can we call the vote, please?
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Benoff?
No.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
The ordinance passed by a vote of 8 to 1.
Passes by a vote of 8 to 1. That was all we had under old business. Is there any other old business to come before council this evening? Okay. There being none, we will move into new business. First item is consideration of personnel request resolutions. The District Attorney's Office. First item, I will call on Mr. Kraft to introduce that resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzic. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the two part-time positions of Assistant District Attorney, salary $96,678 in the Office of the District Attorney, be eliminated effective March 16, 2017. It is further hereby resolved that two full-time positions of Assistant District Attorney, salary $118,168, pay grade CE-Group 301A, in the Office of the District Attorney be created effective March 16, 2017. We had discussion about this yesterday in my committee meeting, and it was sent to the full council unanimously. The unanimous vote. The District Attorney's here if he wants to speak to it a little bit.
Thank you very much, President Cusick and members of County Council. All of you, I think, received my memorandum dated January 25, 2017, which outlined essentially some developments that occurred in my office relative to very experienced personnel. And we lost the Chief Prosecutor of my Violent Crime Unit, Kelly Lewis, to the U.S. Attorney's Office. One of my Assistant DAs, Bill Blake, has been out for some time since October with cancer treatments. And two other Assistant DAs who were getting at a point where we could give them very important cases are also leaving for the FBI and private practice. It sort of felt like the Titanic down there in the DA's office. But quite frankly, these are talented folks that move forward, and we have to address it. In order to continue to prosecute the serious cases competently, it's my judgment that this is an opportunity for us to move away from the part-time staff, which I've been doing for a number of years through attrition. When I came in the office, I think we had 13 part-time assistant DAs. Now, if council approves this tonight, we will be down to 4. And quite frankly, our office has been inundated with very serious cases over the last couple of months. At the time I wrote this memo, we had 3 murder cases in progress. All 3 were successfully prosecuted with life imprisonment, first-degree murder verdicts. Since this memo, we've had 3 homicides alone in Palmer Township, 1 in Bethlehem Township, 4 or 5 Verizon store robberies, which we are working on through a task force that I put together. So we're really, really pressed for experienced folks. If council allows us to go through tonight, essentially what I'm doing is taking 2 part-time DAs who have many years of experience and making them full-time. We'll be able to bring on some new folks with these positions and train them quickly so we can get to the work of protecting the county from the violent crime that we've seen over the last few months. As I set forth in my memorandum, we don't need any more money in our budget. The money that was budgeted by council for the part-time positions in my personnel budget will be sufficient because we have vacancies that have been fulfilled. So we're keeping an eye on the money, and it's my judgment that that will be sufficient to cover these salaries for 2017. And of course, we always have the ability to move money around if we fall a little short, but I'm confident that it does not require us asking for more funds. We're working within the budget that was given to us, but it is a reorganization, and I think it will enhance our office to continue to do, I think, what we do a good job in prosecuting serious crime in this county, and with your help, we'd like to continue to do that. I'm happy to answer any questions from any members of council.
Any questions for the district attorney this evening?
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Any discussion from council? There being none, can we call the vote?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Resolution passed by a vote of 9-0.
Passes unanimously. Next item, under consideration of personnel request resolutions, court administration, problem-solving courts, and I'll call on Mr. Kraft to introduce that resolution.
Again, we discussed this yesterday in my committee. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the 1 full-time position of law clerk, salary $67,425, pay grade CE 4-D in the Department of Court Administration be upgraded to 1 full-time position of law clerk, problem-solving courts administrator, salary $77,566, pay grade CE 3-7 in the Department of Court Administration, effective March 16, 2017. And we unanimously approved this one also, and it was no change in their budget.
Any discussion on this item? Okay. Well, I'm supportive of the problem-solving court, certainly, but something that I heard yesterday that I thought about is that in several other counties, this is a full-time position. Yes, we are going to save money, but I'm conflicted as to whether or not we actually need to create a separate position here sometime in the future. So that's just my concern. So, any further discussion?
Did you want Judge Daly to
Yeah, sure, certainly.
Mr. Chairman, you are correct. In most counties, in fact, I'm not aware of any other counties that have a hybrid position like this. Basically, what we're looking to do here is to save the taxpayers money. I'm not saying that at the end of the day, when the court grows in size, that you're going to need a full-time administrator. However, this setup has worked, and I have an experienced law clerk that can also handle these additional duties, and has been doing so for the last 2.5 years. So that's the reason why it's being presented to council in this fashion. I'm happy to answer.
From the explanation yesterday, this is an incremental view, and if it's successful, it might grow into a full-time, which I think that might be a good thing, but for right now, this is an incremental approach, so I support it.
And as I mentioned yesterday in the committee meeting, we have an individual on staff now that can handle these duties. If she were to leave county employment, then we'd be looking at a separate position, or perhaps adding those duties to another administrative position within court administration. But the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts requires certain reports to be filed, records to be made. So it is administratively, it is a fairly intensive job.
Any other questions regarding the position?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can we call the vote, please?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
No.
Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Resolution passed by a vote of 8 to 1.
Passes by a vote of 8 to 1. Then, thank you very much. The next item is Department of Human Services, Gracedale Division Housekeepers, and I'll call on Mr. Kraft to introduce that resolution.
All right, thank you. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the 2 part-time positions of housekeeper, salary $26,334, be eliminated in the Department of Human Services, Gracedale Division, effective March 16, 2017. It is further resolved that 2 full-time positions of housekeeper, salary $51,402, pay grade GU-02-3C, be created in the Department of Human Services, Gracedale Division, effective March 16, 2017. And we so moved yesterday, but I believe there's a question on this one. Mr. Phillips?
My question was, and I think that administration is going to address it, is so we're going from 2 part-timers to 2 full-timers, and the justification is due to process improvements. So generally, in my view, process improvements have gone the other way. So, I know Ms. Allen's going to talk about that.
I am. Process improvements some days doesn't mean efficiencies in money. We need to get Gracedale as clean as possible. These 2 positions are going to be on, the first one is on short-term rehab wing, which is one of our largest turnovers, so we need to have the housekeepers in there. What we've done is we've made a process, I think Amy had explained last night, where we've broken up the floors, where there's 2 housekeepers on each floor, and we're just trying to do the same on these floors also. The second one is Northeast one, which is an all-younger male floor, which, no disparaging, but younger males can be a little more in need of cleanup afterwards. So we're just trying to get things on the right track and try to get things in, to get the building cleaner. The housekeepers at Gracedale have a lot of non-traditional duties that they are also doing as they do their housekeeping jobs. And I don't know if this is well known or not, but they do all the furniture moving, mattresses, moving, they set up for family fest, they set up for all kinds of different things. And these things are in there also throughout the day. So
Thank you.
regardless how many we have, we still have so many different things that normally housekeepers wouldn't be doing. So we need to get these 2 on board so that we have specific housekeepers for specific floors so that we have much more efficiency in the cleaning process, maybe not the budget. Does that answer your question?
So would you say that basically you were understaffed before and now you'll be adequately staffed?
I would say that, yes, simply because they work on the storeroom, they cover for the storeroom. Again, there's so many different things that they do in Gracedale, the housekeeping department, that we do need a few more people, and we want specific people, again, doing specific floors so they can become familiar, so that it's a nice routine and it gets done to the best of our ability.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
Thank you.
Can we call the vote, please?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
The resolution passed by a vote of 9 to 0.
Passes by a vote of 9 to 0. Next item is Department of Human Services, Gracedale Division Laundry, and I'll ask Mr. Kraft to introduce that resolution
This
as
is my
well.
favorite one, our new favorite piece of equipment, the Mangler. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the 2 part-time positions of laundry utility salary $25,554 be eliminated in the Department of Human Services, Gracedale Division, effective March 16th, 2017. It is further resolved that 1 full-time position of laundry finisher salary $24,941, pay grade GU-01-3C, be created in the Department of Human Services, Gracedale Division, effective March 16, 2017. We also approved this unanimously yesterday.
Any further discussion? I think the one thing worth noting here that, I don't know if it was brought up yesterday or not, but we have had an increased census regularly So this is another reason that we've had to add some of these positions there. So that's probably a good thing. Anything else? May we call the vote, please?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Resolution passed by a vote of 9 to 0.
Passes unanimously. Next item is the Department of Human Services, DHS Fiscal Administrator, and I'll ask Mr. Kraft to introduce that resolution.
And this one here is the final piece of a multifaceted thing that we were doing for a few months. It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the one full-time position of DHS Fiscal Administrator, salary $77,879, pay grade CS-34-01-A, be eliminated in the Department of Human Services effective March 16th, 2017. And we so moved unanimously.
Any further discussion on this? There being none, may we call the vote, please?
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
The resolution passed by a vote of 9 to 0.
Passes unanimously. Then the next item is consideration of the resolution to amend the Register of Wills and Clerk of Orphans Court fee schedule, and I'll call on Mr. Geisinger to introduce that resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Whereas Northampton County Council Resolution 17-79 provides that the fees charged by agencies and offices of Northampton County shall be set by Northampton County Council and by means of resolution at such times and at such rates as deemed necessary. Now therefore be resolved by Northampton County Council that the fee schedule for the Register of Wills and the Clerk of the Orphans Court Division shall be amended to include the attached fee schedule for the online subscriptions. Be it further resolved that any other fee schedule inconsistent herewith is hereby repealed insofar as the same affects this fee schedule. And it was discussed yesterday, Mr. President.
Yeah, it was very minor.
Yeah.
And we had an excellent explanation from Mr. Hunter regarding the issue.
And it was actually a reduction.
Yes, yeah, it's a reduction.
Any further discussion? May we call the vote, please?
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Resolution passed by a vote of 9 to 0.
Passes unanimously. Then the next item is consideration of an Article 13 contract approval resolution for Gilmore and Associates, and I'll call on Mr. Geisinger to introduce that resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Whereas on March 2nd, 2017, the Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive for council to adopt a resolution endorsing a contract in the amount of $59,857.72 with Gilmore and Associates for professional planning services for the Northern Tier Trail Feasibility Study for a proposed 35-plus trail system connecting open space, waterways, farmland, and small borough streets across the northern portion of Northampton County for a term of 1 year. Be it resolved that Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendation the county executive has set forth in the attached to approve a contract with Gilmore Associates for the professional planning services for the Northern Tier Trail Feasibility Study for a proposed 35-plus trail systems connecting open space, waterway, farmland, and et cetera. And we so moved.
This was discussed yesterday at the Finance Committee. Any further comments or discussion from council this evening? There being none, may we call the vote, please?
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Resolution passed by a vote of 9 to 0.
Okay, passes unanimously. That was all we had under new business. Is there any other new business to come before council this evening? Okay, there being none, we will move into the council committee reports. Are there any committee reports this evening? Mr.
I just
Phillips?
want to report that we had our capital projects and operations meeting yesterday, and we We did a deep dive in the 2013 bond issue, and we also did a deep dive into the capital improvement plan 2016-2017 for Gracedale. And I think that went pretty well, a lot of good information. And then we also opened the floor for various discussion on other items. But the main thrust of it was deep dive into those two items, the 2013 bond and also Gracedale capital improvements.
Yeah, I was impressed. Needless to say, the projects are moving along, and we're very hopeful that we get the generator bids before us next month. So we'll cross our fingers for that. Any other committee reports? Mr. Vaughn?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, we had our Human Services Committee just before the meeting this evening, and in that meeting I'm happy to report that the IGT fund is going to be again this year in 2017, which is helpful. We also have come closer, according to Allison, to procuring those contracts through the VA, and we also went through our metrics in Gracedale, and the committee is dedicated to seeing the quality measures reach their benchmarks over the next couple months, and I think we're going to reaffirm our affirmation to that, and just to make sure that we're adhering to finding ways to get to those benchmarks to increase our quality measures through our star ratings.
Okay. Any other committee reports? Okay. Liaison reports? Any liaisons? Mr. Phillips?
This isn't really a liaison report, but I'm going to offer it anyway. I belong to Military Officers Association of the Lehigh Valley, and I went to a luncheon today, and Freddie Ramirez was the guest speaker. And he talked about Northampton County, talked about our Veterans Affairs. Did a nice job, and it's nice to be in an atmosphere like that with retired military officers. Most of them are retired military officers, and having a good side of Northampton County, presented to the public. So I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Thank you. Any other liaison reports? Okay. The Retirement Board did meet on Monday, and I believe that Mr. Brown provided most of the information in his report. So I was going to offer that, but since he already has, I thank him for doing so. But it is good news on the pension fund. Hopefully the market keeps going in the direction it has been over the last several months. Clerk report?
She's looking at
Well, since we have no clerk report, I just want to, at this point, take a moment to thank you for the work you've done over the last couple weeks. Maybe some of you don't know this. We've been short-handed due to injury and illness. So I want to thank you for stepping up over the last couple weeks to do the job of three people. So. Solicitor's report?
Other than answering one question from Sharon, it's been a quiet time, so no, nothing.
Good to hear. Is there anything else for the county council this evening? There being none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
moved.
Moved by Mr. Kraft.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Geisinger. Have a nice evening, everyone. I see we have some students in the audience. If you'd like our autographs, feel free to come forward.